Welcome to all listeners of Classic Radio. It is 105.5, 105.9. Good morning once again. Our viewers via GBN TV, whether channel 711 or channels 20. Good morning. Also on social media platforms, whether it's the Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning. Those of you who are listening and viewing via GBN.GD. Good morning and welcome. It's the Mid-Morning Buzz. Let me get the names right for my guest with me this morning. We have Chantel. I like to go by first names. Chantel.
Sure.
Can we just work with that for now?
Chantel,
good morning to you.
Good morning.
And I have a special name for the gentleman this morning. Grenada Mike.
Yes, that's me.
Can you put Grenadian right now? Grenada Mike.
Yeah.
Can you talk Grenadian?
Yeah.
Talk Grenadian on me.
Oh, do you want to talk Grenada? I'm not going to go there. I'm not that. There's levels to this.
I was anxiously awaiting.
No.
I was just trying to get you on the spot.
Yeah,
but,
Anxiously awaiting.
I respect the culture too much.
how are you guys doing this morning? Welcome on the show. Welcome to the Mid-Morning Buzz.
Wonderful and beautiful Spice Isle.
How are you loving Grenada? Tell me.
I am.
I guess it's maybe not be your first visit, right? Is it your first
It
visit?
is actually my first inland visit.
Inland visit.
Yes. So it's been quite enjoyable so far. Number one, the people are so beautiful and welcoming.
Yeah.
So I'll say that first. And then just the landscape and the water and everything else has just been amazing. I think everything is just so natural.
Yeah. We
Right?
try to maintain that.
Yeah, and I like that about it. And it's like I said, it's welcoming. The people are welcoming. It feels welcoming when we landed here. And just to see some of all that you have to offer. We went to the rum distillery
All right.
and the rainforest.
Sampled anything?
I guess you did because Saturday I didn't see it afterwards.
I heard something about over 70 proof.
All right.
I heard that.
All right. So, I mean, you here on the Spice House. Tell us about Chantel. If we're gonna kick this off, tell us about Chantel. Who is Chantel?
Well,
Well, you know that's just for the benefit for our listeners and viewers this morning. Before we get deep into the conversation, who is Chantel?
well,
If I would like to, I'm meeting you for the first time myself. We haven't had an in-depth conversation as yet. But who is Chantel?
Chantel, I'll have to give a little bit of the business side and personal as a mix because that is just me altogether. And they kind of go simultaneously because I am a tourism international professional.
Yes.
I'm the president of the East Point Convention and Visitors Bureau in Metro Atlanta. I'm also the president of the Metro Atlanta Caribbean Chamber of Commerce.
All right.
I'm Canadian that relocated to Atlanta about 30 years ago with the Canadian consulate, but of Caribbean heritage.
Oh, you're from Caribbean heritage.
So-
which particular island of the Caribbean?
That's a trick question.
It's from parentage.
Yeah, I've got
Okay.
Trinidad, I've got Jamaica, I've got Venezuela, and found out I have some Grenada.
That's what we call in Grenada our cook-up, right?
Yeah. So see, I've got that whole
You
mix
just
going.
everything is meshed into one.
Yeah, so
All
I
right.
think just by nature, it goes well, again, like I say, with the tourism realm of it all, right? And
Because it's like everything of the Caribbean is sort of embedded into you.
I believe that.
It's embedded into you. Nice to
Yeah,
hear it. Nice to hear
and
it.
you know, travel and tourism goes with, like I said, all of that. So, what other better representation and position than to be able to speak on and market a destination?
Tell us about your passion about the Caribbean. Why are you so passionate about the Caribbean? Where there's so many destinations in the world
There
that you
is,
can
there is.
focus on.
I think
What's about the Caribbean that is so passionate about?
Well, for me, I think, again, it's ingrained. It's just a natural thing. Being in my heritage, these are the people that I have been exposed to from birth. And coming from a different perspective of not growing up in the Caribbean, but being able to view it from afar, and sometimes have it right in the home. So I've had both worlds. So I experienced some of it like through parenting and grandparents and family members, but then I also experience it as I haven't lived there and I go to visit and I get that warmth. I get that family feel, and I get that from all the Caribbean. So I say about the people. I think the people, number one, is my passion.
All right.
Yeah, because it's just the family unit value kind of thing, and I just feel love and comfort, and you get that with the food, with the people, and the warmth that they bring.
Tell me more about your position in terms of your business point of view from you. Tell us about that.
Well, my position is as the president of the Metro Atlanta Caribbean Chamber of Commerce. and also the president of the East Point Convention Bureau. For the East Point Convention and Visitors Bureau, our mandate is we're the tourism marketing arm for the city, which is in Metro Atlanta. Have you been to Atlanta?
Haven't. Been to the
haven't?
U.S. million of times, lots of times.
That's unbelievable.
But I've just never been to Atlanta.
Okay, well, if anybody listening or looking on have been to Atlanta, then you've been to East Point. So East Point basically it's an airport city, and once you land in Atlanta, you're in East Point.
All right.
We are strategically positioned to be recognized as where the world meets. We're 5 minutes from the world's busiest airport.
I've heard about it. I've heard about
Easy access on our expressways. We've got all the local branded hotels, international and locally branded hotels right at the doorstep. We're home to Tyler Perry Studios.
I was about to say that's the one that everybody would then.
Yeah.
All right.
And we've just got so much to offer. We've got the Cam Creek Marketplace, which is right outside the airport, where we boast over 55 retail shops and restaurants. So if you're staying in East Point when you get to Atlanta, you're in the right place.
Okay.
And we're just 8 miles to downtown Atlanta proper. So then again, you have easy access to major attractions like the King Center, Martin Luther King Center, the Georgia Aquarium, the World of Coca-Cola. But you stay in East Point, you don't have to pay those high prices for your hotel rooms. You don't have to pay those exorbitant parking fees at the downtown hotels, yet you're convenient to all of that. So that's what, our benefits boast.
Tell us about your infusion in Grenada right now. What's the main reason for you being here? Let's get a conversation
Well, I'll
going.
tell you what happened. This gentleman here, Grenada Mike.
Yeah.
Grenada Mike started giving me the background and premise for his film,
Yes.
Kamal. And when he started sharing about what Kamal was experiencing, and Kamal was international and going from the UK, Grenada, Atlanta, I'm thinking, wait a minute, that sounds like where the world meets. That's East Point. So that was a natural fit for me.
All right.
That we obviously needed to be a part of that because we're that welcoming city at the world's busiest airport. We're ethnically diverse. Though we are over 75% African American, we do have still a lot of diversity within the city. We just recently celebrated the Powwow Festival, which is the Native Indian celebration. We also had a, what do you call it, the salsa.
Yes.
And that influence as well. We had a festival surrounding that. So we're open to all of that. And then we have a huge Caribbean population throughout Metro Atlanta and not just East Point, also Ghanaian and Nigerian. So when I heard that mix happening, and again, supporting our brand statement of where the world meets, again, I thought it was a natural fit, so I had to be a part of that. And then through Grenada in there, I was like, okay, it's a win.
Let's go to Grenada, Mike. Tell me something about Mike that is not Grenadian first before we start.
That's not Grenadian for this.
Yeah. So, where you from initially?
Born and bred in England, but I'm British Ghanaian.
Ghanaian.
Yeah, so Ghana.
I have a brother who's Ghanaian.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're brothers. You know, there you go. Ghana is very similar to Grenada as far as in terms of people and the chi. The spirit. That's how I feel when I first came here.
I'm sensing the same attitude like that he has. I'm feeling it from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. I love being here.
Yeah.
It feels like home as far as I'm concerned. When I go here, I was like, this is great.
You're welcome.
Grenada's home, and that's why I've invited Chantel from East Point in Atlanta to come experience it, and she's also been an avid supporter of the film and the festival as well. Should I say the concert, the Afro-Caribbean night, from day one. She took me to Canada, which was an amazing weekend. You'll see the visuals for it and you'll be like, I was just like, what, amazed. Also, that was showing how diverse East Point is, because I'm in Canada because of East Point.
Yes.
When she said where the world meets, that's how diverse what she does is. It's not linear, because you always think, okay, well, it's just going to be, I use that word just, come over to East Point and then enjoy it. But she's able to really show you it truly is where the world meets.
All right. Understand.
Yeah.
Tell us about the film, the movie, Kamal,
a Caribbean Afrobeat story.
What's your part you played in that movie?
So I am the director.
The director.
Yes.
All right.
Co-writer.
All right.
Of Kamal, a Caribbean Afrobeat story.
All right. How can I view Kamal?
Oh, we're making it right now. Like,
Well, I was thinking it's a
It's
a
a
done
story
production,
about
but it's
British-
actually been filmed.
Yes, we filmed in London. We filmed in Canada. We filmed some of Grenada. We're going to go to East Point, film quite a bit there, and come back to Grenada, and then end up in Ghana.
All right, that's interesting. I probably would like to see the final outcome.
To be done. And
Final outcome.
yeah, we're going to tour with it. It's going to be an adventure, and and as Chantel said, it's really combining the cultures together all in one.
Just a brief description of the whole scripting. Tell me about it if you can.
I'll make it real short, sweet, and simple.
Yeah, not too long. Don't tell me the entire movie.
I call it, the Afrobeats version of 8 Mile. But set here in Grenada. How about that?
Interesting. Interesting.
I think that's the simplest way.
I don't think you need to say any more until don't get my imagination all worn out.
Well, we want that. We want the imagination.
You want imagination.
I'm an individual who like the element of surprise. So sometimes you don't spill too much details. But it's interesting in terms of what you said. Now, tell us about the Afro-Caribbean night, the business brunch and everything that you all had. Tell us about how did that went down?
So that's really part of my passion for bringing us together. I worked with Richard Nixon on the brunch and the cocktail, which was on Friday. Which, if you weren't there, you missed out. It was amazing. Chantel was there. I'm using first names versus giving. So Chantel was there. Aaron was there. Dora. Aaron's from Atlanta. She's a venture capitalist. Dora is from Cameroon by Atlanta.
Yeah.
I had Busala, who's the head of MTV in Africa, but from Nigeria. Then I had Nadia, who is from Ghana, the deputy director of Diaspora Affairs. Then we have Candace Douglas, Grenadian. Yes. All together, one panel, talking about their experiences in their respective fields and how similar we are. And how we have, each one has a unique skill set, right? Yes. A unique story, which if you just got to watch it. If you weren't there, you really have to watch that interview, which we'll cut up and put out here on GBN, and showing how unified we are and can be as well, which is what Afro-Caribbean Night is all about. Yeah. Us working together as one. And that's what the brunch showed.
We're talking about meshing of the cultures to a bit here, Caribbean and African culture meshing together. How passionate are both of you about that?
Very passionate. I think the theme of the business brunch was about bridging that gap.
Yes.
Because we're all so far removed and separated by distance and access, but yet we're sharing all of the same experiences. We're going through some of the same challenges, but understanding that if we were to come together and be able to mesh, as you just said, that we'd be able to alleviate some of those challenges and actually make it a benefit for each of our independent regions and or areas of business that we're involved in, which all overlap, as a matter of fact. So I'm in tourism, but what a lot of people don't realize, they think about tourism and they think it's just leisure and, sun, sand, and sea.
Yes.
But quite the opposite. And in my role for tourism is, we have business tourism, we have leisure tourism, we have medical tourism, and with your university here, that is major on the island, and what the potential and what that means for Grenada. And I know you've already experienced great strides with that, but there's so much more potential with that. There's sports tourism, there's entertainment tourism, there's religious tourism. So it covers the gamut. When you say tourism,
it's broad-based.
It's really,
and not just the single word tourism.
Absolutely. So I was fortunate enough to be able to meet with several of your different representatives here on the island so far, some of your ambassadors that represent the diaspora, technology, entertainment, and we're looking at now sharing the resources that we have. One of my main goals for Grenada is to foster a sister city program with the city of East Point.
Yes.
Because I believe once we do that, then that makes it legit for us to now begin sharing the resources and able to support each other in ways that we would not have been able to without that in place.
All right.
And in that way, we can learn from you, you can learn from us. We strengthen each other, and then we kind of solve some of the challenges that may be present that we might have not been able to as fast or maybe even at all. without having that sharing of resources and information.
You speak a lot about challenges. What are some of those challenges that seem to...
number one, the challenge is access, just getting here.
To put everybody together is one thing, but getting them here was a huge challenge.
That was a huge challenge. So just the access, just the air bridge alone is something, right? So that's something we talked about at the business brunch, and something where I feel that coming out of Atlanta, Delta is the hub in Atlanta at the world's busiest airport. With the Chamber of Commerce, I was able to work with Antigua and Barbuda, St. Lucia, and Trinidad and Tobago years past, and they were able to get nonstop service out of Atlanta.
Yes.
I think that's quite possible for Grenada as well, but we just need to have those conversations and get the right people in the room
to make it happen.
So we talked about having all of our respective, within the Caribbean region, ministers of tourism, ministers of transportation. If we come together as a collective, it's more difficult to do it as an independent, but imagine if we were to come together as a collective in the region. There are folks that are willing and able.
And have the influence.
Yes, not only the influence, but the resources also to make that happen. But we won't know that if we don't all come together and start the conversation and start realizing the type of influence and partnerships that we have with the city of East Point. We have a partnership with Morehouse College. We have some great minds and folks that come out of Morehouse that have an interest in the Caribbean. Right?
All right.
We've got investors around the world and within the Caribbean that have that passion as well. But if we don't talk about it and highlight that these are some areas that we need assistance with, they're not going to know that. They think that they're just going to come have a good time, a holiday home, go back and forth, so they don't experience the challenge of the access because they come and they go, or they can just fly in with their private jet.
Exactly.
And that won't be a problem.
And sometimes if individuals visit the island, let's say for cruise ship, they just come because the destination is embedded in the package. And they don't know anything else. So maybe they want to have that private visit themselves, but they can't have it because when you come a cruise ship, it's only for a limited period of time. You understand? But some people may come and they say, hey, I wish I could come spend a month.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
So access is always critical.
Right. And again, tourism is an economic driver, right? So you want that access to have people come and spend and stay and, help increase that.
From your point of view, of course, with your company that you are part of, what do you think is lacking in the Caribbean more than when we spoke about access? Yes, we know that's one of the crucial things that is needed. You need the access able to be here. What do you think the Caribbean could do more to improve its tourism product?
Service.
Yeah.
And it's not for all of them, because there's some of them that just get it. So I'm not going to call names, but there's about 3 or 4 that just get it.
Yeah.
And they've got that down packed. But then the bulk of it is service.
Service.
Yeah.
What you offering?
No, service as in giving that service, the hospitality service.
Okay.
Right? Service, and then product development probably as well. So I think it's a cultural thing for some of the Caribbean islands. So tourism may be, that economic drive and the first for certain islands. And then the others that may have just, depended on oil or some other type of, economic finance.
All right,
but I think folks have started to understand that they need to diversify that. But yet still, the culture of service has not always been there. So that's something that probably needs to be worked on. And then again, the product development.
All right. Now, East Point, you've been here for the Afro-Caribbean experience in Southern Night. What do you think of the music, and how could it, and being able to come to East Point, to meet and push their music further? How do you feel about that in terms of meshing that together?
For music is life. Music is what brings cultures together. Music, food, that speaks volumes. East Point is already known for great producers and entertainment. We're a home of Candy Burris from the group Escape. Big Boy, Outcast. They're all from East Point.
Yes.
And we have Tri-Cities High School, which is the School of Performing Arts, where a lot of the performers, actors, and musicians came out of right in East Point. So we already boast a history of that and welcome that. We're also a film city. There's a lot of filming, and like I said, we're right at Teleperry Studios, but not just that. The city itself is a filming space. It's considered the Hollywood of the South.
All right.
Right? We have shows like Stranger Things, Ozark, Hidden Figures. All that stuff has been filmed right in East Point. The Wonder Years, you name it, it's a list.
Come on, Caribbean Afro.
And now, come on.
Tell us about the benefit that could derive.
Well, the benefits offered initially is just all the incentives that we have to offer through the film office and agency in the entire state of Georgia, and then within East Point as well. So there's a lot of incentives available for filming and doing production and any type of business, period, in East Point. We're like a small city that's up and coming, in where we've got space for new business.
Yes.
So for entrepreneurs, if you're opening, you name it, I've met so many people doing so many different things, like clothing, your spices that they've used to create products with. There's opportunities for that in East Point. We have a very busy main street with a lot of little shops. And again, for example, the retail space I spoke about on Camp Creek Marketplace, which is like right outside the airport, the restaurants and retail that's on that strip. Let's talk about something well known like Red Lobster.
Yes.
The Red Lobster on Camp Creek in East Point is the nation's largest grossing Red Lobster in all of North America.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
We have something like Chick-fil-A. A lot of people may be familiar with that. That's a fast food restaurant chain that we have as well. The number one also grossing in all of North America is right in East Point.
So thinking about Caribbean products being infused in East Point, how you think about the benefit that could derive for the Caribbean with that also?
Well, I think that's why we're here, to be able now to bring the awareness, number one, and start bridging the gap and having these conversations. So people hear the word Grenada and they hear about the spices, and we talk about some of the products that you have that they're not aware of. So awareness is key first.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, it's, and it has started. The conversation has started.
Absolutely.
So it's just a matter of getting the right people and the right motivation to get it going the way it should be.
Yes.
All right. Michael, tell me, you've been here. Afro-Caribbean Night Experience was held, East Point will benefit Grenadian artists, further bridging the cultural gap and so forth.
What I would say, because Chantel was with us in LA.
Yes.
Another event that I'm a part of, and we had Tamara Songbird from Grenada.
Tamara,
before.
yes.
It was the first time they'd heard
Talented young lady.
Yes. There you go, in LA, and that for me was, it was amazing just to see the response and how people enjoy the music. So doing that, but having that, for example, in East Point,
it's only
that's the direction that we're headed in. Having that in East Point, having that in London, having that in Ghana, having that in South Africa, that's the goal. So when I say it's an exchange of ideas, culture, and information, it truly is that.
All right.
So for those who did come to the brunch and the cocktail and the concert and the boat ride on Sunday, I thank you, Grenada.
All right.
Those who didn't, you missed out.
All right.
And I guess you'll have to come to the next one, which more than likely will be in East Point.
All right.
So let me just add, there's a music concert series in East Point, summer music concert series called Wednesday Wind Down.
Yeah.
And it's a huge concert that draws over 40,000 in attendance.
Right.
And just to give context, the city itself has a population of right at 38,000. Yet we're drawing 40,000.
40,000.
Yeah,
right.
for this one event. And we're talking about world-class performance on that stage. We're talking about Blackstreet. We're talking again about Goody Mob, Sherelle, you name them. So what I did for this year was, and it's from May to August, and in order to introduce the international market, what I did was we brought in an international act for each month to go along with the usual North American performers.
Yes.
Yeah. So that again was a way of infusing that and getting, the feel and introduction to the international world.
All right. Chantel, Grenada Mike, happy to have you folks here. Any final comments before we wrap this morning? I know it ain't going to be your guys' last time in Grenada. This is your first for Chantel, but it may not be your last. I'm hoping to see you back again and coming in, of course, come and tell me about more of the stuff that you'll be offering to help Grenada, especially on the tourism field in East Point and more. Tell me.
Firstly, I want to say thank you. It was a pleasure being here and being hosted on this beautiful island. And I want to extend the welcome back to each and every one of you to come visit us in East Point, where the world meets. We'll be happy to host you. Yeah. We'll be happy to share all that we have to offer. And looking forward to building that relationship and becoming a sister city with Grenada.
Thank you so much. Grenada Mike. You're not going to give me that Grenadian talk, right?
No, I'm not going to do that yet. No. There's levels to this. No. Now, I want to thank Richard Nixon for working with us on the brunch and the cocktail and all the support that he's given. I want to thank Grenada.
Yeah.
So I want to thank my partners in Afro-Caribbean Night for realizing this vision and sticking with me, on this journey. And I'd like to also thank, obviously, East Point, because they've been a supporter, like I said, from day one.
Yes.
In terms of their support. And we're on a journey right now. Like I said, Canada, Atlanta, Grenada.
Yeah.
So far, we're moving forward. I think it's really important for me that we're here to work with Grenada.
Yeah.
And I use that word work with. 80% of the team that worked this weekend. Grenadian. Full stop. That's me. I'm here to.
And you're happy about the product that you have received.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why when I watched it, I was like, we need to do this in Atlanta as well.
Yeah.
So basically, we have a product made in Grenada that we're exporting to the world.
Where the world meets.
Yeah, where the world meets.
I want to thank you both once again. Interesting conversation. Of course, every time permit, we could have talked all morning because, interesting talking to you folks. So, Chantel and Grenada Mike, thank you once again for being on the Mid-Morning Buzz. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
And best wishes in all of your folks' endeavors and great success always.
All right.
All right. Hey, folks, that's how we take a wrap for today's Mid-Morning Buzz here on Classic Radio GBN TV. Until have yourself a great day. That's what we say goodbye.
Very nice.